Catch me if you can. Cracking the code to overseas dating scams. Hosted by Mark Edward Davis, I'm one of the directors here at honestdatingsites.org, which is the website for the International Alliance for Honest Dating Sites. I'm really glad you took the time to review this. This is an educational presentation. We're dedicated to helping more couples succeed and recognize that there are landmines to avoid in this industry. This is an educational presentation I think will save you thousands of dollars potentially, and certainly a lot of heartache, and get you closer to the dream that we have realized here of waking up every day to an amazing foreign lady as your life partner. So let me give you just a brief introduction to the International Alliance for Honest Dating Sites. Our background is that we were formed by three married couples who own international dating companies. And each of us have a track record of success in helping to create more successful couples and marriages. Really love who we are, what we have, what we do, and what's coming out of it, and just want to see more people find what they're looking for. We have a focus on the international communities. By that, I understand there are many, many dating websites that will focus on helping you find somebody in your own country. We're here to talk about the websites that want to focus on helping people find somebody in another country. We're dedicated to consumer education because we realize, like I said, there are landmines to be avoided, and we want to help you win. So education like this presentation are going to be a part of what we're all about. We're creating standards for the industry, and we honor sites that are in alignment with the code of conduct that is just common sense and in support of trying to help you accomplish your goals. So now let's start with a standard for you. Let's talk about what it takes to win. And I have to start off by asking the question, how do you know when something isn't right? You know, you just have a feeling something's just not right about this. And you have to come to that conclusion, first of all, because you have to know what it looks like when it is right. And if you can clearly identify what excellence looks like, what accomplishment, what success looks like vividly, then anything that doesn't measure up to that becomes very easy to identify. The problem is, we don't often take what we do in business, creating goals, vividly imagining our success in our business world, and take that and apply that to our future life partners, or what the journey is going to look like to get us from here to her. So that's what I want to talk about today, and this is going to become very valuable to you. So from experience of us as the site owners, we've seen marriages take place. I want to give you the normal, good, healthy path to success, so you can identify it and see where along the way, if you get off of this path, you can come back here and see where you might have missed. But it starts with you. You have to know your heart. In your desire, I assume you're here because you want to marry a loving and gorgeous and sincere foreign woman. And we don't believe that we're just here out of hatred for women in our own countries. We don't blame anyone else for anything else that has to do with our own goals and desires. What we do believe, there's somewhere in your heart you just feel that she's out there. It's this lingering question that you have to have answered. You don't want to go through your life down the road and just go, man, I never did that. I wonder if she could have been there for me. So here we are guys who are attracted going like, we believe that what you're looking for is out there, and we found it, and we're trying to help other guys find it too. So first and foremost, just knowing the desire of your heart, what you're really after. And if it's clear what you're looking for is a loving, gorgeous, and sincere foreign lady as a life partner, that's step one. Step two is you realize you actually do need to meet her in person in order to marry her. So then it becomes a path of, okay, how do I get from here to meeting possible candidates for that person, so you can sort through and I really truly identify which one resonates with you clearly as that one you felt you were looking for. You're going to need to interact with a lot of ladies, online or offline, to be able to select ones to date. Not all the ones you interact with are going to be ones you want to go on dates with, but this is your process. Now, whether somebody does that for you in a matchmaking service or whether you're doing it yourself on a website through profiles, this is a step. Interact with sincere ladies, select ones you want to go out with. And then now you're gone. You're out there, you're going on dates. Some of the dates are going to go better than others. No problem. Just remain in a positive state of mind so that all of your dates are great. And keep in mind, too, even if you want a date where seem good, but you're there and the chemistry isn't working. If it's still a sincere girl, you just didn't have a fit, keep in mind she might also be friends of the one that does become your future wife. So be good to everybody. Okay? Common sense. Date many and look for that magical spark of romantic chemistry. More than anything else, you're looking for something that just rocks your world. There's something that just connects you. And it could be the look in the eye, the tone of the voice, the way you're interacting, the connection you have together. But then you have to make sure she feels the same way. And when you can verify that, and I'm suggesting you ask her, and this is one of my coaching techniques. I want you to listen to this very carefully and memorize this. What I do is after a couple of dates when you really are just magnetically interacted and the energy is so good, just stop and say, hey, I want to let you know I was very serious in my intent to come here and find a life partner. And the person I had in mind, and by the way, I'm really enjoying this time we have together, this energy we're interacting with. And you're exactly the kind of person I was hoping to find. And I just need to know, were you really seriously looking for a life partner? Are you feeling the same energy about our connection? And do you see me as that kind of person who could be that life partner for you? So in doing that, you accomplish a lot. Don't be afraid to ask. You have to know, because otherwise I've seen guys go on many, many dates and the girl keeps saying yes to the date. And but I say, but how does she feel about you? And he goes, well, she must like me because she keeps saying yes. Well, you're a nice guy. She's having a good time. That doesn't necessarily mean she feels like you're a potential life partner candidate. So at some point when the chemistry is just great and there's laughter and the two of you are really magically connected, just stop and make those 3 statements, ask her those same mirrored questions, and that way she'll say yes. I am absolutely feeling like I'm serious. I am really enjoying this interaction with you, and I do feel like you're the kind of person I was looking for. You're not asking for anything else except to say, are we on the same page, both feeling the same thing out of this energy here? It's not just me. When you do that and she says yes, then you can start moving towards a committed relationship in pursuit of that special one. Now, out of those, not all of those are going to end in marriage, but if you do it this way and you look for the spark of connection, of chemistry, and you've done it with people who are sincere, that have been screened by one form or another, then when you get to this place of starting a committed relationship, boyfriend-girlfriend, to see if you two are that life partnership you were hoping, then we do find a lot of those end up in marriage. Not all of them, because, hey, you just started this relationship. Not all those end in marriage, but certainly enough do to say this pattern works. But we know that many men find insincerity and deceit along the way, and that's why we want to have this conversation today as well. Not just talk about the good path. That's the most important thing, is to have that standard of excellence in your mind, what it should look like, your journey should look like. But we know that many good-hearted men are putting thousands of dollars out there, and they're only finding insincerity and deceit. How does this happen? We know the intention of the men was sincere. How do good, smart, educated men find themselves victim to fraud? And this is so critical because there has not been this portal of education the way we're doing it for your support in the past. And it just needed to happen. We were just too tired of guys coming back so frustrated that we've really put an emphasis on education now. So when does the plan go wrong? Let's talk about it. And first of all, you need to take responsibility for yourself. Okay, nobody reached in your wallet and extracted money. Okay, you have to say, how did I set myself up to be scammed? What did I do? How did I get myself here? Well, first of all, I'm going to say what I've observed is you ended up putting way too much emotional energy into the remote correspondence. Now, that may be your sorting process to book up your own dates, but what we find is guys aren't just using that as a way to make introductions and to set up meeting appointments. They're actually falling in love with people, or in their emotions, they're falling in love with people before they've even met. Hold on to your heart, save it for when you're there, see if everything gets verified. Because the problem is that when you're emotionally connected and engaged in this process, you are going to be way too subject to giving in and giving the benefit of the doubt and not wanting to believe the bad signs that you know good and well. Your instincts are telling you this something doesn't feel right, but now you're too emotionally engaged because you think you're falling in love with somebody you have not met in person. So the number one thing I see for guys setting themselves up to be scammed is they're putting too much emotional energy in the remote correspondence. Second thing is, you just violate basic rules of common sense. You know you shouldn't have pulled money out. You know that, she doesn't have this or this or this. You didn't ask anybody else, and you certainly don't have anybody else over there to verify the situation. You're giving away money to somebody you haven't met yet. And it doesn't make you a bad person. Please understand this. A lot of times it's because the good guys, like you really sincerely want something, and so you want to be a good guy. And especially, it really isn't that much money, for us to be able to send something here or there to help out. We feel we're helping out. The real thing to say is that, when I have somebody I'm committed to, whether it's a girlfriend or certainly my future wife, I will totally take care of her. But until we meet, I just can't, because I don't want to think bad things about this relationship. And I hope you can find other ways to get the help, but I want to get there. I want to meet you in person, and if this pursues, of course I take care of my girlfriends, but right now I just can't help you. And follow that guideline. If there's an exception to that, get some counsel. Talk to somebody directly at one of the sites who might know the lady, get some real information, verify it, validate it from a third party who can give you some perspective, because I tell you, you're going to get way too emotionally wrapped up in this if you don't have some perspective. Then really, here's the hard part. You're just trying to cut corners by creating relationships before you go meet in person. This rarely works. What we end up finding is a lot of guys end up, they go on a trip because they have met people they believe are sincere, and they really have high hopes that this would happen. But a lot of times when they get there, it's while they're in country, they end up meeting somebody else that totally caught them by surprise. Did not expect it, and that's the person they marry. So you think about it, all the emotional energy you're putting into somebody before you go is a sense of cutting corners. It's shortcutting. You're kind of trying to hedge your bet. You don't want to go until you have something in the bag. And that's just not the way human interaction works, and it sets you up again to be too emotionally committed in a situation where you don't have perspective, and you are subject to being fallen for, being asked for things you normally wouldn't give them to somebody else you hadn't met in person. Let's just stop for a second there. I want to make this point. Most all scams are taking place through remote correspondence between people who have not met in person. Okay, I've already made the point. I'm not going to hit you over the head anymore. But realize the purpose for each of the steps along the way is, yes, it's important to make connection, and someday you will be there to be that provider for a person. But realize that most of these scams are taking place through people who have not met in person. Hold on to your heart, save your wallet, get there, get somebody where you verified it, you two are connected, you know it's real, and then help that person out as you see fit on a rational basis. But truly, most sincere girls are not going to want to ask you for a lot because they don't want to be lumped in with the brand of scammers. They don't want to be considered that, so they're going to be very careful to ask you for anything at all. And so keep that in mind as well. Now, what actually is a scam? Let's define it now. Let's really get down there, because I see a lot of mislabeling of scams. And let's talk about it. So let's start with a big picture. I'm going to define scam the way you would see it across the board, whether somebody got suckered in by a real estate scam or anything else. The big, broad picture, generic definition of a scam would be this. A scam is paying someone money who takes it with no intention of delivering what they are promising or implying is the intended purpose of that money. So let's just go through that again. It's so simple. So simple. A scam is when you've paid somebody money who takes it, but they have no intention of delivering what they're promising or implying is the intended purpose for the money. Fair enough? Fair enough. Okay, now let's take that a step further and talk about the international online dating arena. You are assuming when you're paying money, that any money you're spending, you're assuming that that investment is taking you a step closer to a romantic relationship. Fair enough? Really, that's why you're doing it, right? You have a goal, and you believe that this money you're spending is going to take you a little closer to that relationship. You're assuming that the other party has the same intention, and that party includes not only the lady you're writing to, but the gatekeepers in the middle, the agency or the translators, that they're all there. You're assuming the other party has the motive and intention of helping you to accomplish your goal, that the lady you're writing to is actually her, and that she did sign up with sincere intention if you are actually corresponding with her. And I say that because often, many times, the translators in the middle end up being the only one corresponding, and the girls never get the letters. So you're putting some assumptions there and throwing your money out by faith. And really, any scam occurs when you've given money to someone who really just manipulated you to believe they had a romantic interest, or certainly your best interest at heart, when their only motive was just to get some of your money. This is where the heartache and heartbreak comes. So what I'm going to do is try to help you break through this and get to a place where you don't have to even worry about this in your future anymore. You're going to have this covered. So let's talk about it. Let's go through this too before I go forward. I got to talk about what a scam is not, because, guys, I get this thing where this guy goes, "Oh, this girl's a scammer. Look at this. She asked me for all this money," and I go through, "Well, send it to me." So I see a copy of some correspondence, and of course it's somebody he hasn't met in person, and the letter is there, crying about, whatever, the dog died and it has to go to the hospital or something. I don't know, whatever it is, starting to ask for money, and now he's all been out of shape, and then as I get into it, I realize, because my wife and I work on the other side, we know a lot of the ladies, and so it's like we've seen this happen, where if you're talking to somebody at another agency website that is disreputable, it could be the girl never heard of you. The person asking for this money is a translator. So I see this happen a lot, where the girls who are out there innocently, they never heard of you, they didn't ask you for money. This translator did. Now that girl is getting blacklisted. So the other part of it is some guys are just claiming that scams are just any money spent that didn't end up becoming a relationship. And that's not right either. And this is what I want to talk about for a moment here. Money is going to be spent in the pursuit of your dreams, any and all of your dreams. Whether you want to build a hot rod, you're going to spend money on that. Whether you're going to be an entrepreneur and start a new business, you're going to spend money on that. And the thing that comes about is spending money testing theories or possible paths for success is not a scam just because it doesn't work out after a sincere effort was put forth on your part. You're going to spend money just to test a theory, to see, hey, see if this works. I'm going to go here, I'm going to try this, and it doesn't work out. It doesn't mean you were scammed necessarily. You just tried different options, and if they didn't work out, then you found some things that didn't work. Fair enough. In dating, if you went on a date where you're both curious to see if you had chemistry, but you really discovered after the date you didn't, she's not scamming you because she asked you to pick up the check. This is, so it's like, yeah, it obviously wasn't a fit and she wanted me to pay for dinner anyway. Well, yeah, you're a guy, you're the gentleman, be the gentleman. So you can understand, this is not the scamming we're talking about. You were both had sincere motives going into it, didn't work out, pick up the check, be the gentleman. That's not a scam. Let's talk about what the internet dating scams are. And first of all, the common ones that probably started at home. And this is the first one I came across. I was on Match.com, I think, and I got one of these emails, and the photo was captivating. I mean, I kept coming back to this going, oh my, this young woman is so beautiful. I couldn't get over the photo she sent me, and of course writes this letter in broken English. And of course, the red flag in there is they want you to get out of the major sites and go right to them on their private email accounts, whether it's Yahoo or Gmail or wherever else. They want you to start writing to them outside of the system because they know they're going to get banned shortly, and so they want to have you. And then they start writing and asking for things after a while. So what starts off as innocent correspondence becomes a shopping list of things that she wants you to buy for her. And they started easy. The first request I got was just for, I think it was $20 to help pay for the internet cafe, which she has to in order to keep corresponding with me. So using that stuff. Translation scams. Now, this is still outside of a website, but let's say you did start talking to this girl on Yahoo or something like that, and she all of a sudden says, you know what, I really need help corresponding with you. I've been having somebody else translate. I really need you to go now to use this translation service for us to keep writing. And then that's sort of the lure to drag you into one of these other disreputable online dating sites, because the whole hook was this correspondence outside. Now they've drug you back inside into their services where you're just going to feed the meter, pay to have all these letters translated, and now they've got you as a customer. Travel, and this comes in many forms. I literally do know one of the couples that I was first introduced to that got me to go overseas at all, Mike and Kira. his brother was so excited with what his brother found, he decided to go himself. But of course, he didn't do what his brother did and actually go overseas. He tried, to do the thing where he was writing to her and he was sending her little bits of money, and finally she says, hey, I've got my visa all put together. I just need to buy, my travel back over there. Send me $3,000. So he shows up at the San Francisco airport waiting for her, and of course she never shows up. Of course, he'd never met her in person, violated all common sense, and fortunately it had a happy ending. He decided to take his brother's advice and actually go overseas and start actually his dating over there after he lost that money. But there it is, the visa. She says, just send me a few $100s to complete my visa work so she can come visit you. As if it's that easy. Guys, it isn't that easy. She has to be sponsored by you. You have to file the visa petition work to your own government. She can't just say, send me some money and I'll complete my visa work and then I can come visit you. It just doesn't work like that. Travel to be with you. There's the other one. Hey, visa's complete now. Just send me money to get on an airline ticket. Again, doesn't work like that. Family illnesses. And the hard thing is some of these are very legitimate. That some of them are sick. What do? What would they have done if they didn't meet you? And the hard part is when you start sending money for these things, you don't really know. You don't really know what's going on the other side, and it taints the relationship. What could have ended up as a great relationship, now you have a cloud of doubt continually, and she has to prove herself to you over and over again because you sent money, and you don't know if her friend was really sick, if somebody else really was dying. And so it becomes very difficult. So as hard as it is in most scenarios, unless you can verify with somebody you trust who knows her, which is rare, you're better off just not doing it and just saying, hey, when I come to visit you, I'll take care of you. If we have somebody together we want to help, we'll do that. So, but this is one commonly. They tug on the guy's hearts. It's good hearts. It's good guys. You really, truly want to help. You want to have somebody. You want to take care of them. And so they're trying to create this sense of relationship ahead of time so you feel this emotional obligation to want to help. And in so many of these cases, the girls doing this never have any intention of building a relationship with you. And I tell you what happens. If you're in one of these where you paid a lot of money for these things and you've sent gifts, and then all of a sudden you're actually going to go, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen it where all of a sudden the girl finds a reason to fight with you and breaks it off 2 weeks before you go, 2 days before you go. And then she won't see you, and it's done, and it's over. You've already bought your airline tickets, you're ready to go visit her. Why? Because all the stuff that went on before was never sincere. How do you know? Because you started trying to create a relationship before you met somebody in person. And anyway, she lost her job. Money order scams. Now, this is kind of like a takeoff on the Craigslist scam. She can't cash her employer's money order for some reason. She'll send it to you. Could you send Western Union cash back to her? Common sense, right? Let's talk about how agencies get involved, the actual other disreputable websites themselves. A lot of them put up fake profiles. Now, whether these are things we'll talk about on another day with things called, now it just slipped my mind. These generic template websites that are started by fake profiles. There was a couple of companies that just got busted on this for having like 10,000 fake profiles on their site. And that's how some of them start. White label, that's it. White label dating sites. They got to kick off somehow. And so you don't know. And some of the profiles, we had a case in our city where a guy wanted to do business with us, and so we wanted to test him out. So we, it's just funny how these things happen. We obviously don't do business this way, but he says we'd like to partner with you. So we wanted to test one of his girls and say, hey, can we contact this girl and see if we can meet her and interview her, see if she's good for one of our clients. And, of course, he couldn't deliver because he didn't know any of them. Come to find out, the guy had stolen the profiles on the internet, just copied the photos right off the pages, took all the information they wrote about themselves, had over 800 on his site, and had a bank of translators writing as if they were that girl. And, when the girl came into town to meet the guy came in town to meet the girl, they would find reasons to break it off and end the relationship. So, fake profiles is definitely a big issue within the disreputable scamming websites that are out there. Spam letters. This is where you are sent an unsolicited letter, but it costs you to read it. The truth is, in most of these countries, they're traditional in their values. They want to be pursued by the man. Very few of them are going to initiate the correspondence. So Be aware if you're sent letters that you didn't ask for, and especially if they're extra romantic and gushy. Most of these foreign ladies are very pragmatic. They don't write like that, but they found that that's very effective in getting guys to spend the money to open the letters. I'm just saying, this is one of those signs of disreputable. This is one of the tactics used by disreputable sites just to make money. That's their entire ambition. Agency translators are just doing all the correspondence, not the ladies. The whole time you're corresponding, you're actually corresponding translators. The lady never heard of you. I experienced this myself when I went over to meet my wife. So it happens. Okay, so just being aware of that. The clues are this. The letters are just too generic, and they dodge your questions. When you ask a question and they don't answer it back, that's a big red flag. She falls in love with you after just a few letters. The real women are going to be very hesitant because they've heard stories in their country about women being taken captive, into slavery or whatever. And so they're going to be very tenuous. They're not going to pronounce love, very quickly just over letters. And those are just some common sense things. And of course, when through the agency, the quote-unquote girl starts asking for money for whatever the reason was, people you haven't met before. And often, again, it may not be the girl at all, but another way that a disreputable agency would make money. Video chatting with somebody who's online for 12 hours a day. Okay, if you go and you're chatting with somebody for a half hour and she's just talking about how it's all about you and you guys and your relationship, but who do you think she was chatting for the other 11 and a half hours during the day? I'm just saying, a little common sense goes a long ways. Scams in person. Now, if you do go overseas and you want to date some of the ladies you had set up, or you're with a matchmaking company and they're going to provide you a bunch of ladies to meet, here's some things you want to make sure are covered for you to be able to address, so these aren't problems for you. Translators with some of these little agencies are going to team up with the agency because the agency wants to make money. What they're going to do is obviously charge you for the translator fee, and they're going to run that bill up as high as possible. So the translator teams up with the date, even sometimes with the girl, to charge you your hourly rate for translation, and they never had a serious intent to pursue romance, but the two of them are just running that meter up as high as they can, and the two of them are going to split it. Or I've seen instances where the girl was good. It was a sincere-hearted girl, but the agency was determined not to let her be picked up by anybody, so the translator ends up sabotaging it, and the girl was heartbroken because she really started liking the guy she was dating. So who the translator comes from is critical importance. Using a taxi driver that's a friend or family member, or her favorite taxi driver. This, just plan on spending 3 or 4 or 5 to 10 times as much as any normal person would on the taxi. And then it can be scary. You're in somebody else's custody where they're taking you. You don't know. So that's a concern. She insists on going to her favorite restaurant. You have no way of knowing you're being overcharged or not. We've just heard the story where the guy on his date never really did get to interact with a girl. She kept heading back to the kitchen. Evidently, she's making a deal with the owner to add $500 to the bill, and she and the owner were going to split it. And the guy paid for it. What's he going to do? He's stuck. He doesn't know where he is. Now, how do you protect yourself? So let's talk about this for a minute. Understand the purpose of each stage of your journey. You're in charge. Go back through that list. At each stage, identifying what your heart's looking for. Trying to find a site that is definitely dedicated towards your objectives and your purposes, to the part of the world you feel drawn to. And identify each stage for where it is. Be in control of your own process. Your phase 1 is your research and planning. So this is where you're doing the work of deciding how you're going to get over there to meet the ladies. Who you're going to partner with, who knows the ladies, how to get there, setting up your dates, all the things that go into that, research and planning. If you're there, then do it like you would do any other trip and have your partners there. But again, my encouragement is save your heart till you're in person. Second one is now you're dating in person. How to do that smart, how to have somebody there. I've traveled, I think I'm up to 24 countries in the world. I've never gone any one of these just by myself, just showed up. I've always had somebody locally that I knew and trusted, or gone with somebody from my country who'd been there many times, who knew people there. And you always want a local. You want somebody you can trust who's going to be able to give you that safe transportation in that country and the guidance around there. And that person can be your shield and your guide and your BS detector and everything else you need. But then be able to be mentally focused and on your game so that your dating is romantic and fun and playful, and your heart is open to seeing how that chemistry goes. The next thing involved in here is just how do you keep the fires burning when you're back home? And when you're back home, there's a lot of different ways to do that. But you've got visa things to get through and all the rest. But I know a lot of guys will say they fell in love with their wife while they were Skyping, when they came back home, because so much happens in a whirlwind of those short days you're over there. And so in this process, get your coaching there and find out how to make sure to keep that. And then, of course, the last stage is helping to translate her into your dream life together and all the rest that goes along with that. So wherever you're at, keep asking yourself along every stage, every vendor you choose to use, every website you're part of, every little action, especially every dollar you spend, is this action taking me closer to being with her, to waking up every day with the woman of my dreams, making our dream life together? So as long as you're doing that, you're really going to be okay, because you have a game plan. You know where you're going. You know what you're looking for, and you kind of have an idea where in this sequence between research and planning and then transitioning into your dream life, where you are and where you should be, and how each of these people can help you to accomplish your goal with your path, and finding people you can trust along the way. Once you are there, again, I just recommend hiring a translator to work for you as your guide and your protector and your BS detector. That would be my first and foremost thing for face-to-face. And then, of course, saving your heart for those face-to-face meetings. Focus on the chemistry you're experiencing, but with the person. Don't just fall in love with a pretty face, because overseas you're going to find a lot of pretty women, by and large, because there aren't as many overweight as you're going to find a lot of the Western nations. So you're going to tendency to think, wow, I've got to make this one work because I'm not going to find like this one back home. Yeah, but there's lots of pretty faces overseas. So look for chemistry. Look for her also choosing you and that she feels the same way. So that's my advice on that. What can still happen? Well, the date might not work out in her mind. But, it's flattering to be asked out. She enjoys the attention, so she'll just keep going out if you ask her. You need to ask that qualifying question. You need to decide if she's in this for a relationship or she just really is enjoying going out with you. A scammer may still get through. You have people, you're there, you're trying to do the best. Somebody still may get through, find out you spent money on dinner, and then you realize there's just nothing here. She just wanted to get something out of it. You know what? Your translator will be the first one to catch it, and that's why you do this, taking my advice. She'll be removed immediately from your prospects. You're okay, no problem, moving on. Your attitude has got to be positive to say, hey, lots more to date. You know what? Let's go forward. Keeping things in perspective, all right? How much did it cost for you to go there anyway? How much is any European, foreign, Asian, exotic, Latin vacation? You're going to go spend time there, travel, you're going to do things, spend this much money. What's dinner cost you? $30 in these foreign countries, the currency exchange? So don't get worked up about it. Even if you were there, it's not your last date. Keep an abundance mentality. Don't feel all worked out, bent out of shape because you ended up going out with somebody who had insincere motives, just wanted to be taken out. Good for her. That's all she gets. Have a nice day. You know what? I love what a friend of mine said, keeping your own experience and mindset. If I've got the quote here. He goes, there you go. Here's the quote. Hey, I had to have lunch anyway. Next. Okay? This is your experience. Focus on your mindset. You're in an exotic country. You're in a different place. Enjoy it. You're at lunch with a beautiful woman. Whether she ends up not being sincere or not sincere, you'll feel it right away. You'll have your translator there with you to help you smoke that out. But, hey, don't get so emotionally wrapped up on it that it detracts from your energy on the next date. There's plenty. It's an attitude of abundance in your mentality. You had to have lunch anyway. Next. Anyway. There you go. You need to be on your game for the next date. Is it worth it? This is the question I get, because here we've probably spent a half hour here and talking, and I want to convey strategies, both what works, how to avoid the things that you need to be educated on for going, keeping your goal in mind. And people start wondering, man, this is just so much work. Is it worth it? Well, let me tell you something. Of course it is. We have just more and more testimonies all the time coming in now that guys are finding the sincere dating websites. They're really doing well. They're finding marriage. It's just and you find out what these marriages are like. Here in the United States, statistically, the international marriages have less than a 20% divorce rate. But more than that, there are studies have been done about how they're actually happier. Why? Because it's a new ground. You don't have your stereotypes built in. You actually have to talk to each other about what kind of a life you want to make together. And the simple communication of deciding how you want to form your life going forward, it gives you a larger likelihood of actually creating it. So many people just go through life and they just show up and do what their parents did and grandparents did, and they don't stop and think, hey, what kind of life do we want to have? And they don't come to it with an open mind. So of course it's worth it. There you go. This works. Every happily engaged or married man are going to tell you it's even better than they could have imagined on every level. Every guy I've talked to, they get married and he says, the relationship with this woman is just fantastic. Don't allow emotions, fear, panic, or suspicion to set in. Keep yourself above it all. You're on a journey. You're going to have a lot of experiences. I love John Eldredge wrote a book called Epic. And he really just compared to the fact that our life stories are like an epic novel. God designed it so that, we would have experiences that, this is why we love epic movies. And always in them, there's places of betrayal, there's setback, there's challenge, but it's that winning at the end. The great prize is because of the great effort. So don't allow the setbacks to throw you. Don't allow fear or panic to set in. This is your epic journey. It's the great story that you're going to be telling for generations to come. So, and the other thing I loved this is people get scared about going overseas, but I say, well, how do you see a visit to New York? Is that scary or exciting? It can be either one depending on how you see it. I've had people say, oh, you go to this country and here's all the, people are going to get mugged or beat up or these kind of things. Even recently in Ukraine, people are saying, oh, look at that, it's revolt. It's not revolt. It's been peaceful. I had guys who went out there with their girlfriends to be in the middle of it. They said it was like a party. The conflicts just, came when police got out of hand, and they took care of that. So it's like, are you going to allow your visit to New York to be about, oh, there's muggers there and all this kind of stuff, or about exciting? It's New York, it's Broadway, it's lights. In any case, you can go to New York and get yourself mugged if you go down the wrong places. You can also have the time of your life. And so being smart where you go and having an exciting outlook and expecting the best can actually indicate what kind of experience you're going to have. Your mindset and your preparation will determine your experience. Your mindset and your preparation are going to determine your experience. So you don't want to be, if you want to be at the best you can be, I just suggest remain fascinated. Everything there, just be fascinated with it. And you'll be in a very contagious mindset. People love it when people are in that kind of an energy, in that zone. This is how you enhance your odds of success and enjoy the experience of a lifetime at the same time. So, keys to avoid all scams is don't fall in love before you go. Meet first. Now, obviously, you're going to be online. I'm just not saying those people aren't relevant. You have to have people you know and trust who can help make the introductions to somebody over there. So, obviously, but keep it in mind. What are you doing online? What are you doing there? The purpose of that, and how's it going to get you to date many prospects? You can look for the one you have chemistry with. Just hold on to your heart, okay? Realize that this lady, any one of these ladies, could become your wife. So keep a courtship mindset at all times, okay? You're not trying to get her into bed. Keep in mind what she's looking for. How can you be the man of her dreams too? So you're dating while you're over there. Keep your head together and hire a translator who works for you, not the girl's friend. Seen that happen. You wouldn't do that here at home. And keep an abundance mindset and never feel that you have to make this one work, because you'll never find another one like her. Look, if you feel something is off, listen to your heart, listen to your head. Your instincts are probably right. Move on. There's plenty more. So looking for sites that display the Honest Dating Site seal of approval. I want to talk to you about those. We're going to be interviewing the sites which are going to be displayed on there. They'll be interviewed on us by one of the directors of honestdatingsites.org, and to hear how they operate and that they agree to abide by the Honest Dating Sites Code of Conduct. And so out of those, they're going to abide by this, saying we're always going to commit to truth in advertising. If we say we're a marriage-minded outfit and this is what we do and this is what we know about our ladies, then they're going to abide by it. They have some degree of screening for men and women for sincere relationship intent. They have support for relationship intent, not sex tourism. They support creating long-term relationships and basic things they do on their site. They're vigilant about internet security precautions, and they protect the members' privacy. If they agree to these, they're going to, and you'll see in the interviews with them how they feel that they comply with these, then you can say, you know what, I like what they say, I like how they operate, and they're going to be wearing that seal of approval from the International Alliance for Honest Dating Sites. And again, nobody's perfect, but it has to start with people who want to help you, who truly want you to have a great experience, who are making an effort to screening men and women, who are making an effort to support the purpose of long-term relationships, and who will abide by what they say and commit to truth in advertising. That's your best odds of success, and that's the most we can do for you. The rest is you, your preparation and your attitude going forward. That's it. So join us in this great adventure. Just be smart about it, because we totally believe that she is worth the effort. Thank you again for finding us here at honestdatingsites.org, and we appreciate your support and support of the various sites who will proudly display their seal of approval from the International Alliance for Honest Dating Sites. I hope this presentation got you one step closer to that magic day when you have your amazing foreign wife as part of your life to wake up to every day, and you'll join us in giving testimony to just how wonderful and amazing this can be. Thanks for listening, and we hope to catch you again soon. Bye now.